Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is the last webinar of November here in BNI Connect, and we're going to be talking about kind of a specialized function today. We're going to be talking about the online renewals. Basically, what the online renewals are, the ability for any member to be able to go into BNI Connect and process a renewal for their membership. And the entire process happens electronically in BNI Connect. So from the submission of the renewal all the way through to the approval of the renewal by the membership committee and the vice president, and then finally to the reconciliation that happens in the regional office, the process happens all online in BNI Connect. Now, that being said, this is an optional process. That means that not every member everywhere has access to this yet. There are a lot of regions that haven't turned this on yet, and there's a lot of regions that have. For example, here in the Rhode Island region, we have turned this process on. But I know that some of our neighbors in Massachusetts aren't yet using this process. And it really is dependent on your executive director. So if you're not sure if you're following this process yet, or you're just learning about this process, please talk with your regional office, your executive director, for any specific things in your region. Before we get started with the actual content today, just a couple of housekeeping tips. The first of which, this is a live webinar, so if you have any questions at all as we're going through the material today, please do feel free to ask. I can see those questions pop up on my screen when you type them into the questions panel, and I can answer those as we're going along with the process today. It takes about 20-25 minutes to go through this particular process in BNI Connect. That being said, I am happy to stay on these calls until every single question is answered. We are going to be recording this presentation today, so it will be made available on a couple of places, the first of which is our support site, support.bniconnect.com, where you registered for this particular webinar. It'll also be available on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Again, that's youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. So let's go ahead and take a look at this online renewals process in BNI Connect. So the general process is it's really the same process as the paper process from the way we step through it. The first step is that a member completes their renewal application. The second is that the renewal is received and approved, and the final step of that is that the regional office then reconciles or says, yes, we have received the payment for this. The difference is that with the online process, again, this entire thing will be happening through BNI Connect. This has made a huge difference in a lot of regions because they're not necessarily chasing down a piece of paper. Because this can all happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year online in BNI Connect, it's not so much, okay, well, you forgot your renewal application, why don't you bring it to next week's meeting? Oh, you forgot it again, why don't you bring it to next week's meeting? Now this can happen almost immediately. So let's take a look at how this renewal process works for members. And the important thing to keep in mind is that there are multiple opportunities for a member to start processing their renewal. The first way is that a member will get a reminder about their renewal 60 days before they're due. So 60 days before, they say, okay, you are due for renewal on, let's say, January 1st or on February 1st. Would you like to go ahead and start that renewal process now? If the member says, yes, I'd like to do that, they can click through the link and it will bring them over to the page that processes the renewal. The second way is that there is a link that's available to be put on the regional websites. So you can click a Renew Now link on the regional website, such as, BNICalifornia.com or BNIArizona.com or BNIRhodeIsland.com, and this will bring you to the renewal page. The third way is that once you log into BNI Connect, right on the home screen, there is a link towards the top of the page that says Renew Now. If you click that link, that will start the renewal process. And then finally, if a member clicks the Renew button on their main profile tab of their profile, that will start it as well. And I'll show you all these things live in BNI Connect in just a second. The first thing is this renewal reminder email. This is what the renewal reminder looks like. Lets me know thank you. We hope you've enjoyed your experience. Would you like to start the renewal process? They can go ahead and click that Renew Now link, which will take them to the page, or they can click the link down towards the bottom. On the regional websites, it may look a little bit different. Here's just a couple of examples because regional websites do vary based on the taste and preferences of the people designing them. But here's a couple of examples. On the left, we have the Renew Now that happens to be in blue. BNI Heartland has one that is in line with the rest of their buttons, says Renew Now. And then here's one that says Renew Now on BNIArizona.com. Just again, those are just examples of what they might look like, but you're traditionally looking for the words Renew Now. You'll know you hit the right one because it will ask you to log into BNI Connect first before you are able to process that. So let's take a look at how this works for the member. I'm going to go ahead and pull up BNI Connect here. I have a bunch of test members up in the Antarctica region. So I'm going to go ahead and use one of my test members. I'm going to use Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin is a member in my chapter in Antarctica in the Burr chapter. And Mr. Martin is due for renewal. So we're going to go ahead and process that renewal. Again, I can go and click on this Renew Now button here, or if I'm in my profile, there's a Renew button here as well. Either way, or if I click on the link on my regional website, no matter what, it's going to take me to the same place. It is going to take me to the renewal application. And keep in mind, this is in Antarctica. The rates in Antarctica are significantly lower. It's $250 a year, but I can choose a 1-year or a 2-year membership. If I happen to be late on my renewal, it would also show and include the late fee. Now, the next part of this process is answering some questions about BNI. Again, these are test questions. The questions that are in your particular area in your country may be slightly different. But we just need to go through and answer those questions. The next part of this is I can check and update my member details. And what this allows me to do is to go in and to, if I need to, adjust my name or my address. I could even request a different profession or specialty. Keep in mind that they will be reviewed and not automatically accepted if you do decide to change your profession or specialty. In addition, for regional admins and vice presidents who might be on the call, you will get a very blatant notification if anybody does change these within their profile here. After you've made those changes, you can go ahead and say that you've read and understood all of the BNI general policies, and we can proceed to payment. We just choose our payment type. Up here in Antarctica, we will only accept checks, so it's going to let us know what to do with the check. It tells us to please hand deliver it to the office, and if they're not there, ask for Steve, who will take it. I can upload a proof of payment, and when I'm ready, click Submit. If the region that you're in is accepting credit cards, then credit card would be an option here, and you would be taken to a credit card processing page. So it lets the member know, thank you very much for renewing. The membership committee has been notified, and they will contact you when a decision has been made. And that's it from a member perspective. Anybody that has ever really filled out a form online or bought something online, it's a pretty straightforward process from a member perspective. Now, you'll notice that once I've submitted my application and while I'm pending, the Renew Now button has gone away, so I can't go and put another renewal in on top of the one that I just did. And really, again, that is the end of the process from a member perspective, except for some emails that will go around as well. So just to review, from a member perspective, a member, they go in and they complete the renewal application. They choose the payment method. If they are paying by credit card, they will then process that as well. And there are a number of notifications that get sent out to the leadership team, to the regional office, etc. And I'll go over exactly what those notifications are a little bit later today. So switching gears now, so that was the member perspective. So we're all set from a member. The next part of this process is that every online renewal also has to be approved by the leadership teams online. So things that happen offline, the paper renewals, they are not approved online. Only the online renewals, like I just processed, those ones are going to be approved online. So how does that work from a membership committee or a leadership team perspective? When a leadership team goes in, there's a couple of things that can be done. They can be a full approval, they can be a conditional approval, or they can even be declined. And from a regional perspective, I know we have a couple of executive directors on the call with us today. It is your decision as to whether or not you accept the online, the pre-approvals, the post-approvals, or both. And one thing to keep in mind from a regional perspective is that you also will not be able to reconcile these transactions until both the payment type is made and the approval is done. So as I just mentioned, there's really two types of approvals. There is what's called a pre-approval and a post-approval. So a pre-approval, excuse me, obviously happens before the application is submitted. So in the case of Ricky Martin, who just renewed a few minutes ago, the membership committee could go in and say ahead of time, you know what? If and when Ricky decides to renew, he will be automatically approved because we like him and he's a good member. Now, there's a couple of different ways that a leadership team can go in. Usually it's going to be the vice president, but there's a couple of different ways that they can go in and do this pre-approval. The first of which is they do get a reminder email. So 90 days before the membership is due, they will get a reminder listing all of the people in their chapter that are due in 90 days. Next to each one of them is a link that will bring you to the approval screen, and you can process it that way. Now, the second way is through what's called the Membership Dues Report, abbreviated here as the MDR. And through the MDR, you can go in and do the pre-approval there as well. So let's go ahead and log in as my vice president here. I'm going to log out as Ricky Martin, and I'm going to log back in as Alf. Alf is my vice president of my chapter in Antarctica. Alf is short for Alfred E. Newman. So if Alf wants to go in, let's say he got a reminder, he's met with the membership committee, they reviewed all of the applications, all of the people that are up for renewal, and now he wants to start going in and pre-approving some people. He would go to the reports area. So he's going to go to reports. And then the third report down is the membership dues report. And once I pull up this report, we can see here that we have all the people listed in our chapter, and we can see when they're due. So we can see a couple of people that'll be coming up for renewal in the beginning of next year. And what we can do is we can go in and pre-approve them. So for example, let's say that I was going to be, let's see, where's Marky Mark? I want to pre-approve Marky Mark. Is he still here? Uh-oh, Marky Mark is late. He hasn't submitted his approval yet, his renewal yet, but I can still pre-approve him. That way when he does submit his renewal, he'll be approved right away. So I do this by clicking on the little red head to pre-approve a member. And what this will do is this will give us some information about Marky Mark. And it's telling us that he's been to 5 meetings with 1 substitute. Hasn't really performed much by way of referrals given and received in the last 6 months. Hasn't done any one-to-ones. I can go through, I can review his training details and see if he's attended any any trainings over the last 6 months, and he really hasn't done that either. I could even go through and take a look through his profile here and see if he's participating in BNI Connect, which he's not. And then I can close that tab, go back and make my decision. Now on a pre-approval, we can only make the decision to pre-approve or not. The first thing you do have to do before this button will become active is say, by checking this box, I certify that all necessary membership performance reviews. Basically, you've had your membership committee meeting and you are letting everybody know that you have done that. You can also check whether it's going to be a conditional approval or if you've sent control letters. Keep in mind that doesn't really, it doesn't automate anything in the process. It just puts a mark on their record saying that that is how you registered this particular pre-approval. At that point, I can click pre-approve. And now when Marky Mark goes to process his renewal, that part of the process will already be done. Marky Mark will also right now receive an email that says, hey, Marky, are you interested in processing a renewal? Your leadership team has pre-approved your renewal, so please go ahead and process that now. That link will then bring him into BNI Connect and he'll be able to process it right away. And if there's any others in here, you can go ahead and pre-approve those as well. Now, you can pre-approve people that are 6 months, 9 months, 12 months out. It will allow you to do so. However, it will give you a warning. So if I go in to try to pre-approve this one, it will tell me this member renewal is well outside of the normal time period. Are you really, really sure you want to do this renewal? But again, it does allow me to continue if I'd like to. All right, so that is the pre-approval process. But as I mentioned, there's a second part of this process as well. The second part of this process is called a post-approval. And that means that it's, instead of it being membership committee driven, it is member driven. So this is the same process I used just a few minutes ago with Ricky Martin. He went ahead and put his approval in, his renewal in, and then the membership committee and vice president is going to go in and approve it. So the way this happens is if a member goes ahead and clicks on that renewal, the membership committee and leadership team will get a notification that says, this member just submitted their renewal. Would you like to go ahead and approve this now? They can click that link in the email and it will bring them to the approval screen. Now, the post approvals are done through the pending applications since an application has already been submitted. So we can do this in BNI Connect. I'm going to go back into BNI Connect as Alf here. He's still logged into BNI Connect. Now, the pending applications are going to be under the Operations menu. So under Operations, we have our Manage Memberships and View Pending Applications. And here what we can see Ricky Martin, who has submitted his application. I can see that it was a check. I can see that it was a renewal, when it was due, what the value was, that it was submitted. What we need to do now is to click the little button under here for Approve. Now you'll notice that this screen looks pretty much identical to the pre-approval screen, with the exception of a few things. The first of which is that we do have the application form here that we can review. So I can click on this little PDF icon and I can review the application. So I can go through, I can see all the questions that they answered. If I'd like to, as a leadership team person, I can go ahead and save this. I can print it out and put it in the chapter box if I'd like to keep a hard copy. Whatever I'd like to do with it at that point, I could. The rest of this is the same. I can click through to the training details. I could also approve or decline it. I still have to certify that I've had my meeting. And I can go ahead and click approve or decline. Now, in the case of a decline, that means that you are, could be for any reason. It could be because they tried to change their category. It could be because of membership committee issues. When you decline somebody's application, it does not notify the member. I repeat, it does not notify the member. When you decline somebody, you still need to go through the membership committee process of letting the member know by control letter. The member also has the right to live out the rest of their membership unless you're removing them from the chapter, but a decline renewal does not mean that they are kicked out of the chapter. They do get to continue the rest of their membership. Sometimes people decide not to renew, or they're declined for renewal for other reasons, like they could be moving, whatever it might be. But again, the process of dropping somebody or letting them know that they're declined is a manual process that happens outside of the system, not electronically. However, if I do press decline, it will send a notification out to the leadership team, to the regional administrator and the director consultant, letting them know that an application has been declined. But I'm going to go ahead and approve this. We're going to let Ricky Martin renew and stay for another year in our chapter. My buttons have now gone away, and I can go back if I'd like to. And what we can see is that we no longer have the approve, but we do have the status has changed from submitted to approved. So this one is now ready to go. Once the regional office says, yes, we have received payment, this will disappear from the pending applications as the process will have been completed at that point. All right, so just to review, the membership committee, they are going to get together. They do need to review all applications and all people that are up for renewal in 3 to 6 months. A leadership team member then records that renewal. Usually it's the vice president, although by default, all leadership team members do have the ability to do so, as does the director consultant. And then the final step of this process is that the region does what they've always done, and they can go in and reconcile the transactions. The difference is that they cannot do so until the approval and the payment have been registered. As I mentioned, there are a ton of notifications that go out during this process, letting various people know where the whole process stands for various members. So this is just a quick sheet of who gets what when. So before the renewal happens, there's a couple of reminders that go out ahead of time, 90 days and 60 days before, one to the leadership team and one to the member themselves. There's also an opt-out, where when the member receives their 60-day renewal reminder, they can click a button in there that says, you know what, I really don't want to renew at this time. All that does is puts a mark on their record and sends that notification out to the regional office, the director, and the leadership team, letting them know, hey, you know what, this member just said, no, I don't really want to renew. What you do with that information, whether you reach out to the member and try to convince them otherwise, or whether it's just a matter of having them live out the rest of their membership, again, that is a local process. There's a pre-approval that goes out as well to the member saying, congratulations, you've been pre-approved. Would you like to renew now? Now, during the online renewal process, there are a bunch of different emails that go out. So when a member successfully submits the renewal, they will get a copy of that renewal application for their records. If they've completed the online payment, they will also get a notification saying that the payment was successful. If they decided to pay like I did with Ricky Martin, if I pay by check, it does alert the office and the chapter that the offline payment is on its way and to be on the lookout for it. They also get notified when that renewal is received. If a member does go in and make any changes to their details by clicking on that little plus sign, a big warning email goes out saying, hey, this member just made changes to their name or their category, their company name. Pay close attention to this one. One thing that I just want to mention is that the regional office does not get notified on a credit card payment. And the reason for this is that usually that it ends up being a redundant notification because your credit card company would be sending out that notification that you've received funds in your account. So that's just a preemptive question that I usually get. Now, finally, we have after the online renewal. So once the renewal has been approved, the member is notified that they have now been approved. If they had not yet paid, so either if the region is configured to only accept payment after approval, or if the members skipped out of the payment after completing their application, if they haven't paid yet, they will get a payment request after they've been approved. There's an announcement that goes out on approvals, and there's an announcement that goes out on declines. This is just another view of this that shows you, if you're looking at your particular position, whether you're a vice president or secretary treasurer or a director consultant, this is which emails you're going to get as part of this process. And for anybody that's on the call that would like a copy of this PowerPoint, I am more than happy to send it to you so that you have this particular bit of information, especially at your fingertips, or if you need it for training your region. Just shoot me an email, support@bniconnect.com, and I would be happy to share this information with you. So what I'd like to do is to open this up to any questions. Does anybody have any questions whatsoever about this process? I would love to answer those questions for you now. Just a reminder, you can type those questions into the questions panel. I'll see them pop up on my screen, and I'll be able to provide an answer for you. All right, while you're thinking of any last-minute questions, just a couple of other resources for you. You can always find us at support.bniconnect.com or email us support@bniconnect.com. This video, along with all of our other videos, will be on the BNI Connect Global YouTube channel. We also do announcements, and I'd love it if you gave us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. Our Twitter account is slightly different, twitter.com/BNI Connect. So Oksana has some questions, but she wasn't able to see the video from today's webinar. Oksana, I will give you a copy of the recording of this if you'd like to be able to review it. And if you'd like to, I'll catch you up on Skype afterwards. All right, Steve, if you can please shoot me an email, support@bniconnect.com, or I'm pretty sure you have my regular email as well, and I will reply with a copy of this, just so I get reminded to do it as soon as I'm done with this. All right, Rose says, where can I find the last slide you showed listing who gets which email? So if you would like a copy of this PowerPoint, please just shoot me an email, support@bniconnect.com, and I will reply to you with a copy of this PowerPoint presentation so that you have the list of who gets what when, as well as all the other slides that you're welcome to use for training or just for looking at it. Okay, Rose, does that help? All right, do we have any other questions? Any questions whatsoever? Love to answer those questions. All right, if there's no additional questions, just want to say thank you guys so much for being here, spending your couple of days before Thanksgiving here in the United States with me, and I definitely look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. By the way, if you click on the question mark in BNI Connect or go to support.bniconnect.com, you will see our list of upcoming webinars. So let me show you that list real quick. A good referral for me is to please let other people know about these webinars. I'm doing a whole series of webinars for BNI Connect next month as well. This is our December series. We have a series of 5 webinars for members. Everything that they need to know about BNI Connect, all in 30-minute webinars. And then we have a series of leadership team webinars like this one as well, all happening in December. A good referral for me is to please let people know about these webinars and possibly forward them a link to register. All right, I don't see any additional questions, so what I'm going to do is, again, thank you guys for being here. By the way, Mr. Jeff Stay, who is on the call with us today, congratulations on your engagement. Look forward to seeing you guys soon, and happy connecting.